James stood before the room, his chest tight with nerves, his heartbeat a distant thunder. Yet when he finally spoke, his voice cut through the silence, cool, precise, and unwavering. The room was filled with family, friends, and a few of Emily's co-workers, all shifting uneasily in their seats. The tension in the air was suffocating, a silent weight pressing down on every listener. Drawing in a steady breath, James began. He recounted the moment everything changed. The night he overheard Emily's whispered phone call, the sharp ring of laughter that followed, and the cruel, dismissive way she spoke of him, like he was nothing more than a hurdle to be cleared. His words were vivid, his storytelling so sharp that those listening could almost hear her cold, mocking voice of themselves. But that was only the start. As James spoke, his calm expression masked the storm beneath, not sorrow, but a quiet, burning resolve. With careful precision, he began to lay out what he had uncovered. Weeks of torment had turned into a mission, and now he held in his hands the evidence. Printed messages laced with flirtation, cruel remarks she had made about him, and even mentions of a plan to use him for money. There were photographs, too, intimate shots taken by a private investigator, showing Emily with her boss, far too close to their interactions to be professional. A full report followed, detailing their affair and the intricate deception Emily had crafted behind James's back. The room felt utterly silent. Not a single breath dared to break the moment. The only sound was a soft rustle of paper as James revealed each piece of proof to the room. Emily's betrayal wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated act, a strategy to bleed James dry, while she carved out a new life with another man. She had laughed about it, sure he would never see the truth, but she had misjudged him. As the weight of her actions settled over the room, Emily's expression cracked. Her once smug look faded into one of shock. She opened her mouth, perhaps to deny it all, but her words faltered as more evidence was exposed. Her confidence shattered, replaced by panic. Desperate explanations tumbled out, but each one crumbled under the weight of undeniable proof. The guests exchanged glances. Shock rippled through the crowd. Some whispered in disbelief. Others stared in silence. Friends who once held Emily in high regard now looked on with confusion and disappointment. Her co-workers turned their eyes away, realizing that the composed professional they knew was someone else entirely, a manipulative woman who had gambled and lost. But James wasn't finished. What Emily didn't know was that this public reckoning was only the beginning of his strategy. While she schemed to drain their finances and escape with her lover, James had been quietly building his defense. Weeks earlier, he'd worked with his lawyer to freeze their joint accounts, ensuring she couldn't access a cent. She discovered this only when her credit card was declined mid-purchase, leaving her red face in front of store clerks and friends. And that wasn't the end. James had legally secured ownership of everything they once shared: the house, the vehicles, the investments. Using records of Emily's hidden transactions and secret withdrawals, he filed a financial misconduct claim, strengthening his case for divorce. Even the emergency funds she'd stashed away were flagged, frozen, and rendered worthless. The aftermath reached beyond their home. Armed with the investigators' findings, James submitted a formal report to higher-ups at Emily's workplace, detailing her affair with her superior and the ethical breaches involved. The consequences were swift: disciplinary action against her boss, and an eruption of gossip that spread like wildfire through her office. Emily, once admired, now walked among whispers and sideways glances. Her reputation crumbled, but the final blow came in court. James stood strong as he presented his case with composure. His lawyer outlined every betrayal, emotional, financial, and calculated. The judge's decision was clear and uncompromising. James would retain full control over their shared assets, while Emily would receive no spousal support. Everything she had hoped to take was gone. Her dreams of walking away with half his wealth dissolved before her eyes. Then, James filed a restraining order, his final move to ensure she could never interfere with his life again. When the legal dust settled, Emily was left with the ruins of her own making. The friends she thought would defend her kept their distance. Her career was in tatters, her reputation irreparably stained. The future she tried to build through lies and manipulation had crumbled into ash. James, on the other hand, stood tall, not just victorious, but renewed. This wasn't revenge. It was reclamation. He had reclaimed his life, his dignity, and his voice. As he addressed the room one last time, his tone was calm but firm. He left them with a message, powerful, unforgettable. Betrayal doesn't define you. It can't break you unless you let it. You always have the power to rise above it, to take back control, and to rebuild. Never let another person's cruelty decide your worth. Stand tall, fight for your dignity, and believe that better days are ahead. With those words, James turned away, not from pain, but from the woman who tried to destroy him. He stepped forward into a future that was finally his own. His story, once drenched in heartbreak, had transformed into a story of resilience, of strength, of proof that true justice isn't always loud. It's living well after the lies fall apart.